So we have this disturbing story where a whistleblower that worked at a DMV office basically blew the whistle on a scheme that was happening in the DMV office that she worked at, where DMV employees were literally getting paid $200 under the table to give out driver's licenses to people who weren't in the country legally, and as you'll see in the story, didn't even go through the actual process of learning how to drive. Like, they didn't go through getting a learner's permit. They didn't go through going to an actual driving school so that they actually learn how to drive. You'll see it's disturbing. Check this news clip out and I'll be back with my thoughts.
You would think someone who blew the whistle in deep red Kentucky would be rewarded for identifying a scam that allowed illegals to get driver's licenses with forged documents and cash bribes.
It's really dangerous. But according to a Louisville DMV employee, she didn't get praised at all. In fact, she got fired from her job. Newsmax crime correspondent Jason Matera has the details for us this morning.
I want to clear my name, and I want my job back.
At a Louisville DMV, the place meant to vet safe and legal drivers, some clerks were instead allegedly making money in a dangerous side hustle.
Undocumented workers would come in to the office. They would be bypassed without even taking a permit test or taking a work test. They would then be paid under the table. They would be paid $200 a person.
Melissa Mormon, a 3-year employee working at the NIA Center branch, says illegals would walk in with fake birth certificates, Social Security cards, and utility bills. 2 co-workers, according to Mormon, would then give them the fast pass treatment. No lines, no tests, just licenses for cash.
My ID was being used in order to pin me into this scam.
Her whistleblower letter, dated October 29, 2024, warned management that her employee credentials were being used, even when she wasn't at work. Investigators later said that her ID popped up in more than 2,000 shady transactions.
They actually took my phone and looked through all my messages. They looked through my Cash App. They looked through my Zelle, just to prove they know I didn't wasn't involved in any of this business picture.
Mormon says she turned over everything to clear her name, but after getting grilled 3 times in just one day, she was fired over the phone.
I want to clear my name. I want to let people know out there that I wasn't involved in any type of legal activity.
Her attorney, Gary Adams, calls it textbook retaliation for exposing fraud and abuse of authority, and he's suing under Kentucky's Whistleblower Act.
As soon as she tells them everything she knows, she gives them everything she can to exonerate herself, she gets fired.
But instead of clearing her name, Melissa Mormon says she got branded the culprit.
Why was this pinned on me for something that I didn't do?
Mark Charlotte, we did reach out to the Kentucky Transportation Cabinet to respond to these serious allegations, and they did acknowledge that there were at least 1,900 what they called irregularities, and those licenses were revoked, but they did push back on Mormon's claims. They said that she was a temporary employee and that they're flatly denying her allegations. They wouldn't elaborate any further, saying that this was an open criminal investigation involving various state and federal agencies.
I like the phrase irregularities. 1,900 of them.
Yeah, not good, especially if you're driving through Kentucky anytime soon.
Maybe that explains our Earth Cam problems that we've seen.
Yes.
Yes. All right, Jason Matera, thank you.
Information. Truth is freedom. Is Newsmax. It's real news for real people.
You know, I want you to think about something. Think about how often this is probably happening all over the United States, right? Like, you cannot convince me that this is the only DMV office that this was happening at, where you have these employees that are getting paid $200 or however much amount, right? It could be a different amount that DMV employees at a different office are getting paid under the table, where they are basically handing out driver's licenses like they're candy, right? Without the people that they're giving the license to being qualified, in order to have a driver's license, right? People don't realize that is extremely dangerous when you give a license to someone who didn't actually go through an actual driving school where their actual driving skill can be assessed by an actual driving instructor. You're just giving the person a license, right? In the story, they're talking about how the people who would come in that weren't in the country legally, they would come in with fake social security cards, fake birth certificates, and basically they would pay the person that worked at the DMV and they would get a license just like that. Very disturbing. Think about the danger that puts the people that are driving on these roads in. Think about the fact that you have so many people who are not actually qualified to drive a vehicle, never actually went through an actual driving school, out on these roads just driving, out here. And just thinking about it overall, even if it's somebody that was in the country legally, there's just a lot of people who are on the roads that have suspended licenses, no license at all, no insurance. It's just dangerous out here, It's crazy that she got fired, though. Ain't it crazy how you get fired for doing the right thing? She definitely did the right thing by exposing this scheme, but that's sad. That's sad that she got fired, and hopefully she finds something better. Yeah, the part that I just can't get over is how, as a DMV employee, could you be so reckless in giving somebody that is not actually qualified to drive a vehicle a driver's license? Like, do you know how dangerous that is when you give a license to someone whose driving skill has not been assessed through an actual driving instructor? That's extremely dangerous. But it's sad. We live in a selfish world where people would literally do anything for money, right? Because, as they said in the story, they were getting paid $200 under the table to hand out these driver's licenses like they're candy. Very sad, very unfortunate. Again, this is probably happening at many other DMV offices around the country. They should launch a federal investigation on many of these DMV offices around the country because, this is a public safety risk, for being honest. But yeah, anyway, I do thank y'all for watching this video and stay tuned for more videos.